Hello, y'all. This is Ransom1690 here back with another video. And here we have a perfect day. We have gray skies, which is fitting for this video. See, ever since I woke up, it didn't matter if it was rainy or sunny, because this is how it looked like to me all the time. And when you wake up to the truth of how the world is and how people are, then more than likely this is how it's gonna look for you internally, you know. And that's how it felt too. Like it didn't matter if it was real nice and sunny out, because it still looked and felt dark. And I hope that makes sense, but I don't know how else to describe it. So, in this video, we're going to talk about parents who feel like you owe them just for them bringing you into this world. And I remember watching a video from, I think his name is Drop of Melancholy. That's the name of his video channel. I don't think he's exclusively an anti-natalist channel, but he does touch on a bunch of anti-natalist ideas. And one of them is parents who feel entitled to charging their kids monetary gain, you know, like rent and all of that stuff, for living at the house. And like I discussed in my previous video, that's something my mom had recently started doing through the means of taking my SSI every month. And of course, to recap last time, she keeps going up on how much she take. So it's like the first time she started taking like $200, and she says some crap like, oh well, $100 is for rent and $100 is for tithes and offering, because you know she's a fucking Christian and all of that. So the reasoning behind that is, oh God, well, God is the one who blessed you to get benefits. God is the one who blessed you with this money. Never mind the fact that she didn't even follow the specific rules for how you're supposed to give tithes and offerings, which is supposed to be voluntarily on the person giving it. No, she would just take the fucking money out and give the tithes and offering on my behalf, regardless of if whether I wanted to give tithes or offerings or not. So it was really just a fucking point of control that she was doing with that. And, you know, as discussed, each year she would keep going up. Oh, well, you know, I need more money because I'm no longer working, and we have bills to pay, we have a house to fix, I got a house to put back together. And now, the most recent excuse is, oh, well, the cost of living went up, everything went up, just everything went up. Yeah, that's why it's appropriate for her to take more money, because the cost of living went up. But you see, first off, here's the thing. I recently talked to my sister about this and told her that, you know, I don't think she should be taking that money at all. Because when she said that I was going to get on benefits, that was going to be my money to help me to get on my feet. only for her to then twist it later down the road, years later, to, oh, well, it's just for me to take care of you. And my sister has a different opinion. She feels like because I'm living there that I should contribute around the house and, just give finances for a house that's not even being taken care of regardless. More on that later. What I feel is that that's bullshit because first of all, I don't owe her shit. I do not owe my mama shit. I don't feel like I should owe her anything because she was not a good mother. She did not put in the effort to raise me or any of my other siblings right. All she did was just go to fucking work, come home, and I guess put food on the table, which is the bare fucking minimum that a parent should do. And so ever since that, my mom has been making me feel entitled to, that I should be grateful to put up with her bullshit because she put food on the table. Never mind the fact that I didn't even ask to be brought here in the first fucking place. It was her choice to choose to have sex and bring me and my other siblings into this world. No one told or forced her to go shack up with some loser dude and have kids, right? So making the offspring feel obligated to you for anything because you brought them into this world is a load of shit. And quite frankly, that's wrong. That's wrong. And if she was a good parent, if she was a good mother, then I possibly could have been able to overlook that. But the fact of the matter is she didn't teach any of us shit. She did not teach any of us shit. The reason for my sister going to college and for my brother going to the Navy is because they saw that she wasn't fixing to teach them nothing. So they found any way they could to get up out of there. And unfortunately, I didn't have the same connections as they did. I have a second oldest brother who's currently back out the house, who's going through some tough shit that she put him through. And quite frankly, me and him, we weren't the most, fortunate to have those kind of connections to really get out of that. And it was bad for me because the whole time my mom would gaslight me and make me feel like she had my best interest at heart when she really didn't. And the worst part was there was no outside sources to really call that bullshit out. So I don't know if you could say indoctrinated or whatnot, but she would always gaslight me and make me feel like I was constantly doing something wrong just for being there. And it's only gotten worse now that I'm an adult. As kids, she would constantly blame us for why the utility bills were so high, why the light bills were so high. We would get yelled at over the fucking bills. Man, y'all need to turn them lights off because y'all running up my light bills. Turn that water off. Man, these bills are too high. Y'all come on and see. And that's some of what we went through as kids. And so my question is, if you knew that you were not in a financial position to have fucking kids to where bills wasn't gonna be a problem, then why did you have fucking kids, you know? Why did you decide to have sex and bring kids into a world when you wasn't even competent to be a fucking parent? That doesn't make any kind of sense. And so now you want to put the burden of your incompetence onto the offspring for a decision that you decide to make in the first place. And it's only gotten worse since I've turned into an adult. She has been using the utility bills in that house to blame me even more for why that house is a shithole. And that is wrong. That is not how you treat someone, especially when you're supposed to be a parent. And so, a lot of that has worn on me mentally, because it's like, it doesn't matter what I try to do right. It doesn't matter how I try to avoid trouble, how I try to not, you know, I guess stir up the kettle pot, as my sister would say. Something would kick off just from me being there. It didn't matter what it was. She would just come to my room just for no rhyme or reason and tell me like, hey, we gonna have to start charging you more money because man, these utility bills is so hard, and the lights you're running, they're running up too much of the light bill, and just blame me for it. But it was her fault for choosing. Let me backtrack a little bit. Never mind the fact that the house already has some issues with it that's causing like that kind of problem with the bills in the first place. Like, we have a guest bathroom that is fully gutted, that she gutted, trying to play home improvement. So now there is no insulations in the walls in that bathroom. We have some of the windows in the house falling out that we can never get replaced for no reason. And in my room in particular, there is a hole in the window that's been covered up with duct tape, and it's been like that since 2009. Yes, folks, it's been like that for that long, and it still hasn't been fixed. And on top of that, there is holes in the walls from all the countless fighting that her and my younger brother would do. And so we have air going all throughout that house, going out, in and out, like, of that house. There is no proper insulation. So what my sister surmises is that that's what's running up the utility bills. It's from when we turning on that air conditioner and it's working too hard because of all the insulation problems that I've just mentioned going on in that house. But no, apparently it's my fault because the lights that I bought, that I used to do my art studies with, that's what's running it up. That's what's running up the utility bills. Just the floor lamp that I bought specifically, it's just running it up that high. And that's just kind of become another excuse for her to try to take more of the money. And again, my sister, she feels like it's something that I should contribute to the house just for being there, even though I didn't even ask to be there in the first place. I never asked to be born, you see? I never asked to be born into her shit situation where bills were gonna be a problem. So how can you possibly do something like that is what I'm trying to figure out. You bring someone into this world, teach them virtually shit about how to survive, about how to get a job, how to, be independent, but you feel like that your kids are obligated to owe you something just because you brought them into this world. It doesn't make sense. And see, again, like if she was at least a good parent, I could have forgiven that. If she tried her best to give me or teach me everything she could for me to be on my feet and to have a good life, like most good parents do, then I could have probably forgiven that mishap. But the truth is she didn't. Again, she went to work, came home, watched TV, and that's it. And she's the type to feel like that all she was obligated to do was the bare minimum. Feeding your kids is what you're supposed to fucking do, and that's the bare minimum of what you could do. Okay? Especially when you chose to bring them here. So I don't get this whole mentality that parents or people like her feel that you should pay me because you're living here, even though I brought you here involuntarily. Another thing is the money that she takes is not even going back into fixing the house anyway. Like, she is taking money, and because apparently, this money is going towards keeping the roof over your head, but the house is still going to shit. It's still going to shit. The hose is still in them walls, which she told me a couple of days ago she needed to start taking more money to fix. We still, by the way, the kitchen table doesn't even have any chairs because they all wore down and broke. And we have had no chairs in that kitchen for, I want to say, over like maybe 6 months, probably a whole year. I'm going to go on and say that it's been like that for a whole year because I think the chairs wore out. Back down, I want to say maybe, I can't put a specific date to it, but I know early last year is when the last of the chairs in the kitchen broke. So now we have, since last year, no chairs to sit in at the kitchen table. That still hasn't been replaced, even though she's taking this money that's supposed to go towards the upkeep of the house. We still have the holes in the walls. We still have a guest bathroom that we can't even use because it's gutted to shit. And we still have windows that's not being placed. So my question is, what are you doing with this money? What are you doing with this money? If it's supposed to be going towards taking care of the house. And again, talking to my sister, she tried to hit me with some bullshit. She talked about why don't you just go and buy chairs yourself if it's that important? I'm like, so you want me to go and spend the rest of my money to buy things for the house that's supposed to be covered by the money that my mom takes out of my SSI every month. What kind of shit is that? And you know, I think that right there was just enough for me. Like, not only did I just kind of hang up in her face, but that's what stirred me on to start making these videos, because it really feels like that I'm just being charged monetary services just for being here, just for existing in an environment that I didn't choose to exist in. And again, and I'm gonna keep saying this, my mom did not raise us for shit. So it's not like she even did anything to deserve that kind of reward anyway for a job she did poorly as a parent. And so, unfortunately, that's kind of my situation right now. Hopefully it gets better, but I really don't know at this point, because I'm still trying to find avenues to get out of that so I don't have to deal with that. And, you know, it's tiring. It's tiring trying to figure out what to do to get into a better situation for your life, when it seems like every door you keep going to is either being closed in your face or it's just a brick wall. You know, and I talked about that a lot in the last video, but that's what it feels like. And again, having those skills makes it even worse. So hopefully I'm able to figure something out soon, because the way things are at that house, it's not looking too good. It is not looking too good right now. And unfortunately, I gotta film out here because there is no privacy at the house. That's another thing. None of the rooms in that house has doors. So there is a lot of drama at my house, where my mom and my little bro, they is constantly fighting. And my little bro, I think I should specify that he is also on the autistic scale, and he is by all purposes, he's a grown man. So this isn't no little kid running through the house, you know, just throwing a temper tantrum. We're talking about a grown man wrestling, you know, I don't know how you say it, like going back and forth, tussling with my mother. I don't know if I said that right, but I think y'all get the picture. So we have two grown people going back and forth with each other. And I'm making it a point to say that because it's situations like that that has caused all the damage to the house in the first place. And so when you're in that house, there are times, a lot of times, it's been more recent lately, where all you hear is just this loud noise going on, just the sound of voices fussing back at each other. And man, I'm telling y'all, if y'all were to hear this shit, it would freak y'all out, because like it just sounds weird, just the way that they be going at it. Like you just hear this fussing going on, and it's like you ain't got no peace in there. And then you start hearing banging, or you start hearing loud yelling and shit, and it has started to become an everyday thing. And again, there ain't no way for you to tune it out, because first, you ain't got no fucking door to close. So you gotta either just bear with it or leave the house. And that's another thing that's been kind of wearing on me mentally too, is there is no peace in that environment. It seems like something is always going down every single day. And then, as weird as it is, it seems like we'll have stints of days where nothing happens, where it's supposedly everyone is happy. And that's what I was talking about last time, when I was saying that those were some of the quote happy days. Is when no one was yelling at each other, no one was fighting at each